Hello guys, this is the 19th of March session, okay? And it is time to have fun with finance. Uh, Yay, finance, great, yay. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm trying, okay? I'm giving everything I have. All right, okay, so what are you gonna be doing today? Today, remember, we are going back to the slides, okay? So we are working on the chapter 4 for us, okay? We see some balloons here. And remember the last day that we had class is the last week, okay? I explained you a new kind of problem, okay? Remember that we are still here, okay? We haven't moved from the interest rate parity. In the next session, next week, okay, then we will start talking about the purchasing power parity. I will make some comments about the Fisher effects. Also, I will talk a little bit about the techniques to forecast chain rates, okay? But today, before we move on, okay, to do something new, all this will be covered for this class, okay? Today, we are going to still do one more problems day, okay? My intention today is I'm gonna give you 4 problems, okay? Well, there is 6 here, but 4 you're gonna do it with me. 2 I'm gonna ask you to do it by yourself, okay? So we're gonna do 4 problems, 2 of each kind, because I always found interesting to have one class to mix it up a little bit, okay? To do 1 problem of each kind, okay? We're gonna do 2 and 2, so you guys see the difference, okay? Because sometimes when you explain it, it's hard to remember the problem before, okay? So today I'm going to remind you the 2 kinds of problems. What are the differences? We're gonna do 4 of them with me, okay? And then I'm gonna ask you to do 2 of them by yourself and submit your answers to Canvas to the discussion panels, okay? So remember, we are talking about the interest rate parity, okay? We are using the interest rate parity. Remember, the interest rate parity is an arbitrage condition that theoretically tell us that for an investor it should be the same to invest your money anywhere in the world. It shouldn't matter if the investments have the same risk, you should get the same profit, even though you had to change your currency. Okay, so that's what it tells us. All right, so that's where we are. Okay, but before we start, let me um, let me give you a heads up here, okay? Because I don't know if it was totally clear after the last session, okay? The session for last week. At the end of the session, I told you to please do the problem number 4, okay, in the document for for last week session, okay. In the document there were 4 problems. We did 3 in the session, so I asked you to complete the 4 by your own and submit your answers to the discussion panel, okay. Where in Canvas? Well, here, okay, the discussion where you say doubts and comment session March 12 discount problems, to submit it there, okay. To submit there your problem number 4, because I want to make sure again that you are following and you are able to do the problem by yourself, okay. Also thank you, Andrew, for the suggestion to say exactly where you had to send the stuff, okay, because it can be I know it can be confusing at some point, okay. Once that is clear, okay, so you have to submit that. For today, at the end, okay, it's going to be the same, all right? I'm going to ask you to submit 2 problems, okay? So they're going to be 2 discussions on Canvas where you're going to be able to submit those problems, okay? All right, okay, so remember, we had 2 kinds of problem. One is an arbitrage, one is not an arbitrage, okay? So let's start remembering the steps for the first kind of problem, the arbitrage. Okay, so we can see the difference. So remember, for an arbitrage, we are trying to just take advantage of the market. Okay, we take advantage of the market. We take advantage of the market whenever there is an equilibrium condition. In this case, is the interest rate parity, and it's not in equilibrium, so we can take advantage of that. Okay, in this case, to check the equilibrium, we're going to check it by using the interest rate parity. Remember, with the forward premium and the interest rate differential. Okay. Remember, it doesn't matter to use bid or ask or borrow or lender just for the equilibrium. It doesn't really matter, okay, as long as you are consistent, okay. That's something that we need to remember. And this idea that it doesn't matter use bid or ask or lender or borrow, just apply for the equilibrium when you are checking the equilibrium, okay. Later in the problem, you have to use the proper lender interest rate, borrow interest rate, bid exchange rate, or ask exchange rate. Okay, all of that is clear. Okay, once we plug here the numbers, once we are checking the equilibrium, it is time to make an if decision. Okay, an if decision. If decision that is going to be like this. Remember, okay, if the forward premium is lower than the interest rate differential, we're going to borrow from the country with the lowest interest rate, and we're going to invest in the country with the highest interest rate. If the forward premium is higher, then we borrow from the country with the highest interest rate, and we invest in the country with the lowest interest rate. Remember, forward premium low, borrow low, forward premium high, borrow high. Or interest rate differential high, invest high, interest differential low, invest low. Up to you, okay, whatever it works better to remember, okay. That will be the tricks that you can use. All right, so once we know where we are, the really important thing here, okay, is to know where to start borrowing your money, okay, because remember, this is an arbitrage with no money on your own. You don't have to have money. You have to ask a bank to give you some money so you can use it from the arbitrage, okay, but it doesn't have to be yours. You're gonna ask money from a bank, you're gonna change it, you're going to invest it in another country, and you're going to bring the money back using a forward contract, and you're going to have money enough, theoretically, to pay back the loan and to get a profit. Okay? Once we have this clear, that we can build the two columns. Okay? The column for today and the column for X time later. Remember, my proposal, okay, is to use this system. It's kind of easy, okay, so you know when things are happening. So we have 4 steps today, 4 steps X time later, okay. So remember the steps, okay. You first borrow the money, and then you exchange it to the other country, then you invest the money, and then you sign a forward contract to bring the money back to your original currency, okay. Which money? The money that you're going to get from the investment is step number 1 prime over here. Then you're going to change the money back using that forward contract from step number 4. Then you're going to pay back the loan, and then you're going to compare, right? Remember also, that's a suggestion, okay, that I recommend to use the left column here to mostly write down the information. So you realize in step number 1, 3, and 4, you don't have to do anything like a calculation, okay. Just write down the information, the interest rate you're going to use to invest, to borrow, or the forward contract that you're going to use later. The only step where you do a calculation in the left column will be here when you exchange the money, because you are changing it today. In the rest of the columns, you are not. The only thing you are doing is just you are receiving money from the bank, or you are giving the money to the bank to invest, okay. But that's it. You don't get the final result, the final value. Later, in the right column, you do the calculations, okay. Over here, or every step you have to do a calculation, because now we are in the final value moment. Something else important to remember, what I said before, okay, this idea that the bid or ask, lender or borrow doesn't really matter when you do the equilibrium. In here, they do matter, they are important, okay, and you have to use the proper one. So remember, if you are, for example, in step number 1 that you are borrowing, you always will use the borrow interest rate. In step number 3, you're always going to be investing, so you will always use a lend interest rate. Step number 2 and 4, it depends, okay. Bid or ask, if you are multiplying, you will use bid. If you are dividing, you will ask, okay. One will be the opposite from the other. You are doing bid on the step number 2 because you are going from the euro to dollars. In step number 4, you will going to from dollars to euros, and then it will be ask, and vice versa, okay. So it will be the opposite from each other. All right. If you have something like a fee to exchange money, like it's going to happen in one problem today, the fees to exchange money will be applied. For example, let me clean this up a little bit, okay. they will be applied in the step number 2 here because you are changing money, and in the step number 2 prime because once again you are changing money. So you will do the calculation like always, and then you will subtract the fee. Okay, we're gonna see that in one problem today. Okay, now let's go ahead and see and remember the discount problem that we explained in the last session. Okay, let's go here really quick. Okay, remember we are not doing an arbitrage here. Okay, in the basic situation that we are presenting, we are going to be a company doing business abroad. Okay, we're going to be getting paid in the future in a foreign currency. Okay, so what we need to protect our money, we need to protect our money at all costs. Okay, so to protect us from the foreign exchange risk, we need cash today. Since we are operating in at least 2 countries, let's compare in which country the operation is going to be cheaper for us. Cheaper for us meaning that we're going to have more cash today. Okay, so remember the idea, okay, that at the end of the month we may have a lot of checks owed to us, okay, but we don't have cash, so we need cash now. We can wait 6 months, 1 year, whatever, to collect that money. All right, so remember, we're going to be a company in this specific version. We're going to be a company receiving money from our honest work, okay, from our job, and we're going to be getting paid for that. In every situation, we are going to be losing money. We're going to suffer a cost, but it's a cost that we are willing to suffer in order to have cash today and protect our money. Okay, how are we going to do that? Remember, so to protect our money, we're going to sign a forward contract. To get cash today, we're going to ask for a loan that we can pay back with the exact amount of money that we are receiving in the future. Remember, this is the basic version of this problem. It could get more complicated. Okay, it could get more complicated. If I see that you are doing this more or less easy, okay, you don't have problem with this problem, I will add an extra credit with a problem based on this idea, a little bit more complicated than this. Okay, but on the basic version, that's what we do. We're going to ask for a loan that we can pay back with the exact amount of money that we are going to receive in the future. Okay, and to compare, we're going to perform this operation in both countries. Okay, in the domestic country, the country from our company, and in the foreign country that we are receiving the money from, and we're going to see which operation is going to be cheaper for us. Okay, so it's going to be the one that gives us more money. How are we going to do that? Well, remember, it's a little bit more simple than the other problem. We are going to be using again 2 columns, but now it's going to be for the domestic country and the foreign country. Okay, and in each column we're going to use 2 steps. Okay, simple. Then step number 1 in domestic country over here. Let's think and remember, do we know how much money we are receiving in our currency in the future? No, we don't. Okay, we know how much foreign currency we're receiving, not ours. So the first step would be to sign a forward contract so we can know how much money we're receiving in our currency in the future. Okay, so for that you're going to use a forward exchange rate because it's the future number. Once we have that clear, then now we can ask for a loan in the domestic country that we can pay back with the exact amount of money that we are going to receive in our currency. Okay, so that's why I say here the final value equals the money that you get from step number 1. Okay, remember, in order to do so, we're going to use the same expression that always, but now we solve for the present value. Once we do that, okay, and remember here also we always use the interest rate to borrow. We are always borrowing money here. We are never really investing. Okay, so that's going to give us the money that you can get today in your currency from your country. Then in the steps for the foreign country, it's time to think again. Do we know how much money we are receiving in the foreign currency in the future? Well, yes, we do. Okay, so we can ask for a loan that we can pay back with the exact amount of money that we're going to receive in the future. Okay, in here, same idea, and that's going to give a present value. That is the money that you can get today in the foreign currency. So that's not our currency, we need it. So that's why in the step number 2, we need to exchange that money back to our currency. So that's going to be using the spot exchange rate, because now it is the present value. It is today money, while in step number 1, domestic country, it was tomorrow's money. Okay, so that's going to give us the money that you can get today in your currency from the foreign country. Now it's time to select the biggest one. Okay, all right. So where do I get the problem for today? So we are all clear. Okay, on Canvas, you click into the home button or you go to modules. Okay, you're gonna see that there is one created for the online session, March 19, and here you're gonna get a document with all the problems that we're gonna be doing today. So like the other day, okay, you can either check the problem from here, or you can just download the PowerPoint, okay, as well, okay, and you will have also the same problems here, so whatever is easier for you. All right, but like the other day, I'm gonna introduce the problem, then I'm gonna ask you to pause it, to do it, and then come back. Okay, that will be the same way they're gonna be working today that we worked the other day. Okay, let's start with problem number 1. Okay, we got it. So problem number 1 is an arbitrage problem. Okay, so remember the same thing that happened the other day. We don't need all the information. Okay, all the information that we need is the one related to the 6-month swap in this case. Okay, because I'm asking for a 6-month arbitrage. The first step, remember, these are swap points. Okay, so I'm gonna do this with the first one. Okay, later I'm gonna let you do that first. Okay, so remember, that's not the forward rate that we need to use for the problem. Okay, how do we get the forward rate? Well, we need to compare the swaps, the swap point, just the swaps. Okay, and in this case, since the bid swap is bigger than the ask swap, we need to subtract the swaps from the spot. That will give us the actual forward rate for 6 months that we are going to be using for today. Then, also important here, there's something new. There is a 0.9% fee on currency transactions. Okay, there is a fee. So remember what I told you before, you have to use the fee in step number 2 today, and step number 2 X time later. Whenever you change money, you have to subtract that fee. So you do the change and then you subtract the fee. Be careful, okay? It's a 0.9% fee, so divided by 100, okay? This is 0.009. A common mistake would be to write 0.09. Well, that's 9%. That's huge, okay? So be careful there. All right, so let's pause the video now. Let's click on the pause button, okay? Do the problem by your own, and then come back once you're done. All right, so let's pause for a second. So this here is my highly complex media center that I use for the music at the beginning, okay, for the introduction. It's really awesome, okay? You can play music, and you can play music with animals. See, that's a sheep, that's a cow, right? I mean, technology these days, it's amazing. Okay, we are in the 21st century, you guys. Okay, so you're done with this. Let's go for the problem. Okay, so first step, we need to check the equilibrium, and I'll do like always. Okay, so with the exchange rate. So remember, this order depends on the order of the exchange rate here. So that will be euros minus dollar. So you do all the numbers. Okay, I use the bid and borrow for the symbol. Okay, just not because it's only one that you can use, just for the sake of the symbol. Okay, so that gives us 2.82 and 3.35. Remember, we are comparing absolute values here. Okay, so it should be like this. So then 2.82 is bigger. So that means that you should be borrowing from the country with the highest interest rate. Remember, when FP is higher, you borrow from the country with the highest interest rate. Okay, all right, so then we can go to the steps. Okay, so remember, today we start by borrowing the money. So we start by borrowing $2.5 million at the 1.25% borrow interest rate. We are borrowing money. We just write the information, then we exchange the money. So we're gonna get that money, but be careful, we need to subtract the fee. So we subtract it, okay, by multiplying times 0.991, okay, for example. And then you get the match money, 1,927,990. Then we're gonna invest the money. Now we're gonna use the lender interest rate. They want to invest. Remember, to lend means to invest, okay, it's sort of British. And then finally, we're going to assign a forward contract to bring the money back using the forward contract. It's going to be an ask, okay, because we're going to be moving from euros to dollars. So we're going to be dividing, okay, so then we need to use the ask. X time later, we're going to get the investment, all right? So remember here, okay, that is 0.25%, so divided by 100, so it's 0.025, okay, it's really low. Then we are going to exchange the money back using the forward contract. So remember that we are dividing. Once again, we need to subtract the fee, okay, so we get this much money. Then we need to pay back the loan that we asked for at the beginning, $2.5 million with a 1.25% interest rate. It's going to be the match, and then we are going to compare, and it's going to give us a loss of 51,336. Okay, we have a loss because of the fees, because of the fee on the ask. The second question on this problem say like, what happens if you own the money at the beginning? Well, in this case, if you own the money, you don't have to borrow. It's true, so you don't have to pay back the loan. But in this case, probably because of the fee, okay, if we do it without the effect of the fee, it will be different. But because of the fee, even without even having money, there won't be an arbitrage possible, okay? Because here in this step, you are already getting less money than the one that you start with, okay? So in these conditions, okay, with these fees, there is no way that we can perform an arbitrage. Okay, it's an example. That's, yeah, just so you know, just so you see why in real life people are not doing this all the time. Okay, normally the fees and stuff are going to disadjust the equilibrium. Let's continue. Okay, so now we're gonna do the other kind of problem. Okay, we're gonna mix it up. Okay, we're gonna do one of each at a time. Now we are talking about the problem 2 is a discount problem. Okay, this company, meaning the kind of that you can have with finance. Okay, sorry about that. So you are a British company, that's really important. Okay, so you need pounds at the end of the day. Okay, in here is a 7-month deal. Okay, so I don't say anything else. Okay, you know what to do with the swaps. So let's pause the video again and let's go back to see if you did it right. Okay, let's pause. Hey, you're back. Okay, so let's see the problem. Okay, so the beginning, okay, since once again the bid swap is bigger, so we need to subtract. Okay, so we're gonna get these chain rates for the future for the forward 7 month. So now we can go to the step. Okay, so we first need to know how much money we can receive in pounds in 7 months if you wait. So we need to sign a forward contract. Okay, so that's going to be here, right? If we wait, we can get this many pounds. To do that, we're going to use the forward rate for 7 months. Since we are using euros, we're going to be multiplying, so we use the bid. Once we know that, the money that we can get if we wait, we can't wait. So the second step, we need to ask for a loan, which final value is that number. Okay. We solve for the present value and we get this many pounds that we can get today. All right. Remember that we are always using the interest rate to borrow. In this case, in the UK. In the foreign country, we know how much money we're receiving in the foreign currency in 7 months. So the first step can be to ask for a loan that we can pay back with the exact amount of money that we're receiving in 7 months in euros. Okay, so once again we're using the interest rate to borrow in Europe. Okay, but that's not the end. We need to know how many pounds are that. Okay, so we're gonna change that money today. So it's gonna be using the spot. Once again, we are using we are multiplying, so we are again using the bid. Okay, and this is the money that we can get today. We compare these two numbers and we say that you want the biggest amount. Okay, so that would be the 409,000 pounds. Okay. Now, I ask you about the cost of the operation. Okay, the cost of the operation. Okay, remember it was to get the money that you can get today. Okay, you have here and here, and you have to compare that with the money that you can get in 7 months in your currency if you wait. Okay, so that's the number that you get from the step number 1 in the domestic country. Okay, of course, the one that gives you more money today is the one that is cheaper for you. Okay, just saying the same thing. Okay, you get more money today because the operation is cheaper, but both operations have a cost. All right, you got it? Good. Let's go for the next. So once again, an arbitrage. Okay, with less information. Okay, just to clarify. Okay, it's a 2-month arbitrage now. So it's an arbitrage. Remember the 4 steps today, 4 steps later. Let's pause the video and you try. Well, by the way, the CHF are Swiss francs. Okay, it's the currency in Switzerland. Okay, that's the official way to do it. It's the Confédération Helvétique francs. It's a little weird. You don't know which one it is. All right, let's pause and do it. Look at this. My daughter is getting better. I mean, I suspect some help from mommy, but yeah, definitely better than the other days. An improvement. In one more month here, and she will be, I don't know, Picasso or something. You got it? All right. Let's see. First, we need to compare here. Now you realize the swap ask is bigger, so we need to add the spot on the swaps, and you will get those forward rates for 2 months. Okay. Once we have that clear. Okay, remember that we are when we have that clear, okay, and remember that we are in the arbitrage problem. Let's do the equilibrium thing. Okay, so once again we do this whole thing. Okay, remember the order here that matters. Okay, now it's for 2 months. Okay, so it's times 6. So you do all of this, you get that now the interest rate differential is the one higher. Okay. And the forward premium is the one lower. So that means that we're going to borrow from the country with the lowest interest rate, so 10 million euros. Okay, and we are going to invest in Switzerland. All right, so let's do the steps. So first we start borrowing money. We borrow 10 million euros per 2 months. Okay, remember we just collect the information, we do nothing. Then we're going to change the money. Okay, to change the money, we're going to be using the bid because we are the euro, and then we are multiplying. Okay, then we're going to invest the money per 2 months. Okay, using the lender interest rate. Okay, it's the 10.50, and then we're going to sign a forward contract to bring the money back that we get from the investment back to our currency in 2 months. Okay, it will be the ask, because we're going to be doing the opposite. Okay, we're gonna go now from francs back to euros. So number 1 prime, we get the investment. So we do the numbers. Okay, and we get all these many francs. We need to change the money back using the forward contract that we have from step number 4. We divide now. Okay, because it's on top of the chain rate, so we get this much money in euros. Once again, we see that we're going to have a loss either way. Okay, and we are not done. We pay back the loan here. Okay, with the information that we got from step number 1, and then we compare, and we see a loss. Once again, a pretty big loss. Okay, 120,000 euros. Okay, so once again, situation that the bid and ask and the difference in the interest rate, the spread in the interest rate that we had to suffer, once again, is going to destroy the potential profit. Okay? All right, let's do one more together. I don't vote. Okay, now you are an American company and you are receiving money from Europe. Okay, so that's now for 8 months. I'm gonna ask you the cost of the operation. Okay, so you try to do it. So let's pause and let's go back in a second. Okay, so if you are wondering what do I do while I ask you to pause, I do really pause. Okay, so I can get the feeling that we are in class and I'm waiting for you to do the problems. Okay, so it's a little trick for me as well. All right, let's do it. Now the swap bid is bigger, so we need to subtract gains, the discount from the spot, so we're gonna get these exchange rates. Okay, for the forward a month. Well, we have all that clear. Okay, let's do this. So first, we need to sign a forward contract so we know how much money we are going to receive in our currency in 8 months. Okay, so now we are going to be dividing because the one that we are trading is euros and that's on top of the chain rates. Okay, and we are going to get this many dollars, almost $600,000. Okay, then we're going to ask for a loan in the domestic country, which final value is that amount of dollars, right? So for that, we're gonna solve. Okay, remember we're using the borrow interest rate, okay, times 8/12, and we get this many dollars. All right, 174, more or less. Then for the foreign country, we start by asking for the loan, like always. So we solve for the present value. We use the borrow interest rate, okay, and you get this many euros, okay. But we are an American company, so we need to exchange the money to dollars today. So we use the spot. Once again, we are dividing because once again we are trading euros to dollars, okay? And we get this many dollars, 174, 735, okay? They are really close, but still the foreign currency is gonna give us some extra bucks, okay? Almost 500, a little bit less, okay? The cost of the once again, comparing, they are really even, you realize, okay, they are really close, so it's almost in equilibrium, okay? But once again, is to get to compare the money that you can get today in both sides with the money that you can get if you wait for a month, okay? So you realize this one here is the one cheaper, okay, $25,208, so the one that's gonna give us more money today, okay? So now I'm gonna ask you to do two problems, okay? This problem 5 and then problem 6, okay? I want you guys to submit these problems to discussion assignments, okay? Or discussion places on Canvas, okay? I created one per each kind of problem, okay? So for example, for problem number 5, you have the one that says March 19th session, problem 5, arbitrage. And then for the next one, then you have to do it again, and it's a discount problem, okay? You have the discussion that says March 19th session, problem 6, discount, okay? These discussions are also set as an assignment, okay? So, and they have the due date of April 2nd, okay? As I told you, 1 week after I'm posting this session, okay? So it will pop up now in your Canvas, okay? Reminding you that you had to do it, okay? So this is it, okay? I hope that you are okay with the problems, okay? We won't do any more problems until we have a final review, okay? Because in the exam, even if it's an open book exam, I'm gonna ask you to do some problems, okay? To just make sure that I want to make sure that you guys know how to do this, okay? So we will have one more day to review, okay? After Easter, I will post that after Easter, okay? Normally will be the day before the exam, so that will be the Tuesday before the exam. It will be the 14th of April, if I'm correct. And that's it, okay? I'll see you next week with the next sessions, the next 2 sessions, where we are going to cover the rest of the theory that we have. We have just 2 more 30 days, okay? We have the day where we are gonna finish this chapter and talk about the purchasing power parity. We're going to talk about how to forecast exchange rates. And then we have one more day to talk about futures and options a little bit. Okay, we have been talking about them. Okay, so let's explain some theory about what are the difference between futures and forward contracts, what are the difference between futures and options, etc. And with that, we will be done. Okay, after that, we will have presentations. We have, well, this was physical. Okay, we had 2 days to present. Okay, in this case, well, these 2 presentation days will be a little bit different, okay? Because as I told you, I'm gonna ask you to submit YouTube videos of your presentations, and you all are going to have, you're gonna have to watch those videos and comment them, okay? And give some feedback to your classmates, okay? So you guys watching the videos and doing the feedback, it will count for 2 lessons, okay? So as I told you, the next 2 lessons that we have are the last 2 theory lessons. Okay, then we will be done with theory. Okay, all right, guys. So I hope you are fine. You're doing well. Okay, healthy, and all your family is healthy as well. Okay, I'll see you on the next lesson. Bye, guys.